my junior season as a quarterback for the Iowa Hawkeyes, I had led us to a 6-0 start, but we still weren't ranked. I started off the game badly as our line was getting manhandled, but I finally got things going with a completion to Keegan Johnson on a curl. My biggest strength my whole college career had been as a runner, and my team was going to need me to continue to make runs like these, and we finally got on the board as I floated a perfect pass to Ostrander for a touchdown. After our typical slow start, our offense was heating up with long completions before halftime, and on 1st and goal, I stayed in the pocket to deliver my second touchdown pass to Cole Charles. We started off the second half by getting lit up as there was nowhere to go with the ball, but we got it all back on a 2nd and long as Arlen Bruce ran a great route and fought for the first down. Then, I made one of the most athletic plays in my career. I got out of the pocket and showed a burst of cleat speed, and Kinnick Stadium was going crazy as I sprinted down the sideline for the longest run of my career. I made another amazing play late in the 4th as I extended the play just long enough for Luke Lachey to get open and threw a rope to him for another touchdown pass. I was starting to make a case that I might be a Heisman contender as I continued to find Luke Lachey for big gains, and I did throw my first pick of the day on the goal line, but I'd had a great day with 4 total touchdowns. Next up, we were playing Indiana and we were finally ranked. There was a steady rain inside Kinnick Stadium, but I got us going with a scamper down the sideline as I continued to impress with my legs. I got my first completion of the day with a dot to Keegan Johnson for a first down, and Luke Lachey was clearly establishing himself as the best tight end in the country. I was reading the defense with ease today as I continued to find soft spots in the zone, and I was feeling so good that I chucked up a risky throw to Ostrander, and he made a great play to come down with it. These Big Ten defenses were not doing a good job of accounting for my running ability, and I got loose again for my first rushing touchdown of the day. I got pounded by a defensive tackle on the next drive, but on 3rd and 24, I navigated the pocket to find Luke Lachey and get us in range to try for a 4th down, which we converted easily. We were piling on points against the Hoosiers, and coach was going to take me out soon, but I wanted to throw a couple more dots before I came off the field. I found Craig Ostrander again and again, and with 30 seconds left in the half, I outran everybody to put us up by an insurmountable 35 points. We beat the brakes off of Indiana, and I played spotless football with only 2 incompletions. Going into our game against Purdue, Kirk Ferentz told me to stop scrambling so much because he didn't want me to get hurt, but I didn't listen because I'd realized I was faster than most of the defensive backs in the Big Ten, and I showed it with this huge 63-yard touchdown run on the first play. I had a feeling it was going to be a good day as we were up by 14 early, and I found my favorite target, Luke Lachey, on the sideline. I was cutting through Purdue's defense like butter as I hit Arlen Bruce for a touchdown pass. With 22 seconds left in the half, most Iowa teams would just crush the clock, but we were feeling it. I chucked a bomb to Keegan Johnson, and he came down with it to get us inside the red zone. He had been a great deep threat all season, and I was so glad he didn't transfer as I found him for another touchdown pass. At this point, I was playing playground football as I made everybody on the Purdue defense look stupid, and they got us to 3rd and 26, but I still converted with another strike to Johnson. I scampered in for an easy touchdown run, and Craig Ostrander was glad he'd come to Iowa to play with me because we developed the same connection in this offense that we had in high school. Purdue just could not figure out how to deal with both my legs and my arm as I continued to pick them apart. I found Keegan Johnson for another touchdown to continue his dominant performance and added another late rushing score to run up the score for the polls and give us a ridiculous 56-3 win. We were playing our toughest test yet in number 10 Ohio State, and we were looking to get revenge on them after they beat us in the Big Ten championship last year. I knew this defense was tougher and I'd have to open things up with both the scramble and the short passing game as I moved us down the field, but I didn't see OSU's D-end lurking and threw a goal line pick on our first drive. Luckily, our defense got a stop and we were continuing to move the ball, but with pressure in my face on 3rd down, I missed an open receiver in the end zone and we had to settle for 3. Ohio State answered with a touchdown, and I knew this team was going to score with us better than any other team in the Big Ten. I juked down the sideline to get our offense moving and hit Luke Lachey on the seam route like I had been all year to get us into Ohio State territory. I was doing a good job of finding soft spots in the zones, but Ohio State was throwing confusing looks at me as they rolled their linebacker all the way over, and I threw my second pick of the first half. This game was going to get out of hand if I kept making mistakes, and the shoe was going crazy. We started to get something going by throwing towards the sideline as I hit Lachey and Ostrander with perfect timing, and we finally punched it in before half with this touchdown pass to Arlen Bruce. Late in the 4th quarter, we were still down by 4 as I got loose for another big scramble. I was having another great day on the ground, but Ohio State's defense was tough, and we had to settle for a long field goal that Drew Stevens thankfully drilled. With just over 2 minutes left, we were down 8 and things were looking tough. I did not want to end our undefeated run with a pick, so I was being careful with my reads and moving my team down the field slowly. On 3rd and 8 with pressure in my face, I lobbed a prayer to my tight end, and he came down with a clutch catch, but I got hurt on the play and had to watch Carson May try to get us into the end zone from the sidelines. Thankfully, my backup clutched up by throwing a rope to Charles for the touchdown. We needed the 2-point conversion, and Vanderbrush came up with another huge catch to tie it up. Unfortunately, CJ Stroud was somehow still on the Ohio State offense, and he instantly got them into field goal range. With 30 seconds left, I watched as our defense broke down, and Stroud waltzed into the end zone to give the Bucs the lead once again. 30 seconds was normally plenty of time for me, but unfortunately we called the worst play possible with 1 timeout left, and I got stuffed. Now we couldn't get tackled short of the sticks, but I knew I was going to have to use my legs since everything was getting clamped downfield. But with time running down, the defensive end somehow caught me, and now we were just going to have to chuck up a prayer. I heaved one to Ostrander, but it was picked out of the sky, and we were handed a devastating first loss of the season. I'd put up a good fight, but my early turnovers had cost us big time. Our next game wasn't going to be any easier as we were taking on 99 overall Michigan, and they scored right away, so we had to answer. We had to win out to make the Big Ten championship now, but we were feeling good in our nice blackout uniforms as I was marching us down the field with my arm. Whoever told me how to cancel the play action animation, you're the real MVP, because it was helping a lot, and we tied the game up at 7. Michigan's offense was rolling, but I was really feeling sharp today. My receivers were doing a great job of creating separation as I hit Lachey to get us deep into the red zone, and after I rolled out, Arlen Bruce absolutely pimped this touchdown catch for no reason. Our defense finally got a stop, and the coaches were giving me the green light to let it rip as I hit Craig Ostrander on the sideline. The seam routes had been my best friend all year, and I was just able to fit it in for our 3rd touchdown of the half. But Michigan answered back with 2 of their own, so we really had to keep our foot on the gas. I trusted Keegan Johnson to run a great route and hit him for yet another touchdown pass, but our defense was just getting cut to ribbons by the Wolverines. We were going to have to keep piling on the completions, and I was spreading it all over the field, but Ostrander couldn't quite hang on to this one, and we had to convert on a 4th down. The coverage was tight as I rolled out and threw a strike to the sideline, but Ostrander couldn't get a foot down, and it looked like we were screwed. But miraculously, Michigan fumbled the ball, and our season was still alive. We had no timeouts, so I knew I had to be careful about the clock. Luke Lachey got wide open up the middle, and I overthrew him just a bit, but he made a beautiful diving catch, and we were in business. With time ticking down, I stayed in the pocket and hit Charles over the middle to send us into overtime. On 3rd and 5, JJ McCarthy made an awful throw, and we came up with a huge pick. We just needed a Caleb Johnson touchdown to give us the win, and our offense had clutched up as I threw for 4 touchdowns on the day. All we had to do in our last regular season game was survive against a struggling Nebraska team that was already thinking about firing Matt Rule in his 2nd year. Nebraska was giving us the underneath passes for easy gains all day. Going into the second half, we were tied at 14, and I did not want this to be another nail-biter. It was slow going for our offense, but I got out of the pocket to find my guy Ostrander on 3rd down, and we went up 3 with a field goal. This pass to Keegan Johnson could have been a pick, but the cornerback decided to run the shorter route for some reason, so we got a huge gain out of the play. Brian Ferentz called a nice little read option for me, and I put the Nebraska defense on skates with a spin move to pick up a 1st down. We went up 10 with a touchdown to my fullback Gorman, but Nebraska answered back, and I didn't want to let their offense back on the field. We picked up a couple of 1st downs to escape with the win and cap off a great 11-1 regular season. Tune into the next episode as we head to the Big Ten championship game with college football playoff hopes and Heisman dreams.